Hey family, it's Netta back at you with Black Lives Count. So today we're discussing the Voting Rights Act. Okay, I have a little small snippet that I want to read with some information, some pertinent information, and I just want to have a discussion. So I'm going to read a little bit of this article. It's by the NAACP, and it's called the Voting Rights Act of 1965. So it starts off saying the 15th Amendment to the Constitution removed racial barriers to voting in 1870. But states continued to practice voter discrimination and continued to deny black voters a chance to participate in elections. The right to vote was extended to white women in 1920. It wasn't until 1965, after years of intimidation, murders, and advocacy, that the path to the voting booth was cleared for black people with the Federal Voting Rights Act of 1965. Just 8 days after Martin Luther King Jr. led a peaceful civil rights march in Selma, Alabama, President Lyndon B. Johnson announced his intention to pass a federal Voting Rights Act to ensure that no federal, state, or local government could in any way impede people from voting because of their race or ethnicity. He signed the Voting Rights Act into law later that year, banning racial discrimination practices in voting, including literacy tests. Originally, legislators hoped that within 5 years of its passage, the issues surrounding the 1965 Voting Rights Act would be resolved and there would be no further need for its enforcement-related provisions. They were wrong. Congress has had to extend these provisions in 1970, 1975, 1982, and most recently in 2007, and this time it was extended for 25 years. That's about where I'm going to stop at. So, in 2007, they extended the Voting Rights Act for black people for 25 years. Okay? So let's see, 2007, 2017, 2027, 28, 29, 31, 2. So in 2032, black people's rights to vote will come back up. And at that time, they could say, nope, we're not going to renew it. Nope, not at all. They can't vote anymore. And my question is to you, my fellow black family. The Democrats, under Biden's most recent term as president, had the full, I think the first 2 years, control of House and Senate and the presidency. And I believe that even the Supreme Court was leaning on the left side. They didn't change that. They didn't even look at it. During Obama's term, this was not dealt with. He didn't change that. And I tell you why. Because the Democrats are just like the Republicans. They don't give two fucks about your white rights to vote. And it is time, family, that we understand that and vote strategically. If the Democrats refuse to give anything to their biggest voting base, What should that voting base do? They should not vote for the asses. But yet, every 4 years, we go in those booths and we vote for them blindly. Vote blue no matter who. Family, that has to stop. That is ridiculous, to say the least. It is. And you do not have to be the most educated person to understand that. Oh, you'll have people, black people, that will say, well, we gotta vote for them because if we don't, the Republicans are gonna get in. So what? You know what the benefit of the Republicans being in control is? That black people are going to have no choice but to work together. See, that is the benefit. Because when we were under Jim Crow, we worked together. When we were in slavery, we worked together. Okay? When we were being redlined and we didn't have voting rights before the Voting Rights Act, we worked together. Now we got voting rights temporarily. We don't work together. I believe, and a lot of you may disagree with me, that it was the mighty hand of Yahuwah that put that man in office so that he can unleash all the things that they want to do to bring us back together, to work together. And it's time, family, that's what we do. We need to continue working together. We need to continue to buying black. We need to continue supporting black businesses. We need to continue to ensure that we have black doctors and black lawyers and black teachers and black nurses. We need to continue to do what we have been doing since we have been integrated with these people. We need to continue to support one another. See, at one time I was a huge advocate of most of the marginalized communities coming together. Until we are treated in a non-disrespectful manner, that can't happen. So we delineate. And what's going to happen is, you watch what I tell you. If they were to remove the Voting Rights Act for black people, you'd see a lot of people go back to their homeland. Yeah. You'd see flights leaving here going to Africa and the Caribbean like you ain't never seen before. But see, we can't just flee. See, all the people that have come here fled their countries. And when the shit go down, they're going to flee this one. Just like they fled theirs. But we'll still be here. So this is the time for us to mobilize and come together and do what's necessary for foundational black Americans. And I don't care who getting on the internet talking about foundational black Americans and this and that, we being divisive. No, you know what was divisive? It was divisive when motherfuckers was coming over here to our country and were talking down on us and treating us as though we didn't build this country. That was divisive. It was divisive when people were coming over here, had brown skin like my skin, and saying me no black, me Caribbean, me Haitian, me Jamaican. That was divisive when people were doing that shit. Claiming status for foundational black Americans is not divisive. It's smart. It's group protection. And it's what's going to get us through. So I thank you so much, family, for watching the video. Please like, share, comment if you would like to. And if you're not a subscriber, we invite you to be a subscriber. And we thank you so much. We love all of you. Peace, love, and blessings, family. Be one power. All right. Bye-bye.